There's still a lot of people who believe I can't do maths is only for bright people. Those are some of the things that we're trying to debunk.
Here's something you can appreciate about math. It allows us to develop deep thinking, appreciation, and richness of understanding about how the world works and even our inner being. It is, after all, a science. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am your host, Audrey Williams. Today signifies the end of the Ministry of Education and Youth's Math Week celebration under the theme, Reigniting the Maths Flame, Light Up Your World. But learning math doesn't have to end there. Keep on counting. And according to my calculations, we have a wonderful show waiting for you. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the news.
Sign with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Sign with me.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, March 31, 2023. The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF has received an assortment of equipment to better detect and prosecute cybercriminals. The equipment, which cost $30 million, were provided under the Ministry of National Security's Pro-Cyber Project. They will benefit the Communication, Forensic and Cybercrime Division, CFCD.
Project Cybercraft is a multi-year effort providing strategic resources to CFCD to increase the department's investigative capacity. The project involves specific focus on technology and infrastructure improvement, which is intended to impact our 4 key areas, namely training and development, technical equipment, software licensing, workspace renovation.
Stressing that cybercrime is a global problem, the National Security Minister says government continues to keep abreast of the dangers and put measures in place to mitigate the effects locally. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the equipment, which represents the second phase of delivery, will redound to a more capable division over time.
As a force, we are ever changing and ever growing in our ability to incorporate these technologies. The area of cyber forensics, communication forensics is a growing, ever-growing aspect of what we do as a police force, particularly our criminal investigation and otherwise.
Jamaica is steadily moving closer to becoming a cashless society with the recent official launch of MyCash, a digital wallet by Paymaster. It was launched at the AC Marriott Hotel in Kingston recently. Minister of Science, Energy and Technology Darrell Vaz has hailed the newly confirmed fintech organization for providing another option for accessing digital financial services. He says all Jamaicans need and deserve access to digital financial services to do business, make their everyday lives easier, and contribute to the local economy. MyCash received the all-clear signal from the Bank of Jamaica recently after completing a mandatory pilot period in the BOJ's fintech regulatory sandbox. Like other digital wallets, MyCash allows for better financial management by enabling users to keep coupons, cards, and IDs easily accessible in one place. It also facilitates contactless checkout and improves citizens' economic security by minimizing theft and reducing the need to travel with cards or cash. Minister Vaz describes the technology as a world-class product that meets local and international standards. He reiterates that the Technology Ministry is reviewing the Cybercrimes Act and continues to progress towards the full implementation of the Data Protection Act 2020 to protect users of technologies such as this. The MyCash app is available for download on the Apple and Google Play stores. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort is asserting that the membership of the Constitutional Reform Committee reflects the highly technical and complex work that will be needed to transition Jamaica to a republic. During this week's sitting of the House of Representatives, the minister addressed concerns about the lawyer-centric makeup of the new committee.
Although not everyone who is a lawyer by profession is on the committee in that role, I invite those who have questioned the wisdom of having so many lawyers on this committee to consider that lawyers are always helpful in ensuring that all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed, that due process is adhered to in our public consultations, procedural fairness and transparency prevail throughout the entire process. Madam Speaker, lawyers are trained to be especially attentive to the values of a democratic process of constitution making.
The minister says a subcommittee will be created made up of stakeholders from various sectors of society. She adds that a public engagement subcommittee has been established and it will include members of the public who are not lawyers. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie is urging the country's mayors to do all they can to make poor relief work for all citizens who need it.
We should be united around poor relief. The name of it, poor relief. And why is it that we should be united? Hunger knows no party. Poverty knows no leader. And if we are tasked with the responsibility of offering leadership, let us do it without compromising our principle when it comes down to it.
Among the suite of services offered by the Poor Relief Department is a children's program. Minister McKenzie says investments have been made by his ministry to advance the educational pursuits of children. He was speaking at the Board of Supervision's annual awards and recognition ceremony held recently. Nearly 50 students were awarded in several categories for attaining passes in PEP, CSEC, and CAPE. The local government minister reminded the awardees that education had no expiration date.
Education is the only way out of your crisis in this country. There is nothing else that can save you. But how can you make education work for you? It begins with you. You have to commit yourselves to that kind of discipline that is going to be required.
Minister of Gender Olivia Grange says the findings from a recent study on the economic costs of violence against women and girls in Jamaica will support the crafting of an effective gender-responsive budget going forward. The pilot study, which is the first of its kind in the Caribbean, was recently launched by the United Nations. It finds that approximately $16 billion in economic loss is attributed to the violence against women and girls in Jamaica. This amount covers support systems, legal aid, medical care, shelter, medication, as well as counseling and protection for the survivors.
This study will definitely pivot our work in the gender portfolio. So, for example, the data on the cost of gender-based violence is broken down according to sectors. This study is really an important tool, and I will be using it to impact on our work and to make representation.
The minister's point was echoed by Tony Ann Bradber, Caribbean representative at the UN Women's Multi-Country Office.
If we're going to do something, we need to do it properly. We need to make sure that it is going to influence people's lives. And this study helps make the case. It provides the evidence which will hopefully inform decision-making and justify the budget decisions that are required for effective response, yes, but prevention. It is costing Jamaica too much.
And finally, arrangements are being made to fast-track plans for a new home for 13-year-old burn victim Adriana Leng, who returned to Jamaica yesterday. The new house will be provided under the government's social housing program. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith gave the assurance at the welcoming ceremony for Adriana at the Norman Manley International Airport.
Mr. Wilson, Moreland Wilson, who is the MP, has been in contact with Mr. Lang, and they're working on ensuring that there is housing secured under the social housing program, on the HOPE program, and that process has started. He's working on the documentation with his dad, with Mr. Lang, So when he comes back in, they will finish that process and it will be expedited as quickly as possible.
Adriana sustained burns to more than 90% of her body after a fire gutted her Westmoreland home in September of last year. She is the lone survivor of the blaze that took the lives of her 3 younger brothers. With assistance from the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Health, San Mina Foundation, the United States Embassy, and other private entities, Adriana was able to receive treatment overseas.
We worked very quickly at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade when we understood from both San Mina Foundation and from the MP Moreland Wilson that there was a need to get Adriana immediate care. They had a 24-hour window, needed funding in order to airlift her out.
Adriana was flown to the United States by Trinity Air Ambulance with life-threatening injuries where she underwent multiple surgeries and rehabilitation.
Today is a day that is so emotional, but I'm so happy that I'm here with you guys that all put together and help me and my daughter. San Mina Foundation, Mr. Joseph, James Burn Center, and Shriners Hospital in Boston. Everybody that's come on board.
And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
The following is an excerpt from the 2023-2024 budget presentation by Prime Minister the Most Honourable Andrew Holness.
Over the last fiscal year, there has been a marked increase in the system coverage, reliability, and level of service, with several projects being completed and commissioned into service in 2022-2023, funded from the NWC's resources. The profit is yours. It is you, the people, who will benefit from the increase in investment in your water supply. So when the NWC says, look, we're going to do Barron Hill to Samuel Prospect pipeline replacement works in Trelawney, how is that funded? It's funded from the NWC's budget. When they say we're going to do a new distribution network to serve persons in the new building area of Nain as part of the Essex Valley to Junction water supply system in St. Elizabeth, that's coming out of the profit and resources of the NWC. Efficiency of public sector entities pays a dividend to the citizen stakeholder. The NWC will replace aged pipelines to the Greater Black River area, including between Luana through Middle Quarters to New Holland, as well as from Sandy Ground into the town of Black River. I was there recently to open some of these investments. The NWC will do the extension of pipelines to supply the community of Mile Gully in Christiana, a new full supply scheme, including development of a new source, pipelines and storage tank in the Mesa River, Bullhead Mountain, Douglas Castle communities, which straddles the border of Clarendon and St. Anne. That will be done. The extension of the Negril water supply system to serve Nonpareil, Mount Airy, Retirement, Orange Hill, and Negril Spots, Westmoreland. These are already done. So they have done several storage tanks to improve reliability and reduce energy consumption at Fraser's Hill in St. Thomas, Liberty in St. Anne, Westgate in Montego Bay, Yorktown in Clarendon. So they have done quite a bit from their resources. These projects are in addition to the previously mentioned $6 billion capacity upgrade in Kingston and St. Andrew with the installation of new major transmission lines along Mandela Highway, 6 miles, Spanish Town Road, Beeson Street, South Camp Road, and connecting along the Palisadoes into Port Royal. The people of Port Royal will be happy. They have had a water problem for a very long time. It is going to be corrected now. In addition to the replacement of secondary transmission and distribution lines along Waltham Park Road within Whitfield Town, and those were completed. Another major pipeline replacement will include the ferry to Rock Pond Forest Hills via Plantation Heights. Several other island-wide water supply upgrading and expansion projects are planned for 2023-2024. 21 projects with projected expenditure of about $2.5 billion will see NWC service being extended to new communities. Plans are being finalized for works along East Kings House Road, Lady Musgrave Road, Arthur Wint Drive, and Tom Redcombe Avenue in Kingston and St. Andrew, and Grange Lane and Brayton Road in St. Catherine for major water infrastructure upgrade in terms of coordination with the NWA. I have directed the NWC to pursue 45 small projects to install new systems or incorporate existing small local systems to extend coverage to communities which are presently inadequately served. It is expected that the associated expenditure of $200 million will have an impact on the lives and well-being of close to 40,000 persons. The Greater Mandeville Water Supply Improvement is a major capital project aimed at effecting substantial improvements in the service levels in communities extending from Pepper in St. Elizabeth to the full limits of the town of Mandeville. The works being implemented include the sourcing of the development of new water sources, new transmission mains, electromechanical pumping equipment, and associated storage tanks. Implementation is scheduled for completion in 2024, and this is going to be done at a capital cost so far to date of $680 million. The total cost is 3 billion Jamaican dollars. The long-awaited Content Water Project, which was proposed as far back as 2009 to provide water to the corporate area from the Rio Cobre, has finally been settled commercially under a PPP framework. The water purchase agreement was signed in November 2022 for the establishment of a water treatment plant in Content in St. Catherine to provide 15 million imperial gallons of water per day. Construction is expected to begin in June 2023 and will last for 24 months. This arrangement will fundamentally improve the supply stability to Kingston and St. Andrew and Portmore and support growing housing and commercial developments.
Greatness is in your bones.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a vulture with no bridge. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game.
We're looking for great things this season, and I know you believe it within your very core. And so we have committed to continue the support behind you and in front of you and beside you so that you can excel and you can do well and you can be your best self.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a vulture with no bridge. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game.
If Samuel installs an irrigation system, plants 2 trees, and checks his 1 well pump on a regular basis, what is Samuel implementing? Say it with me. Drought mitigation.
Poor precipitation, high temperatures. Low soil moisture and high evaporation rates all contribute to an insufficient supply of water for agricultural activities, a dry spell.
It speaks to the degree of dryness in comparison to normal or average amounts of rainfall, and the duration of that dry period.
We have always had dry periods in our climate, and it's Jamaica's normal and historical experience. However, when these are prolonged, we see drought.
At the ministry, we are not just concerned with the meteorological drought in terms of rainfall patterns, but we are also primarily concerned as to whether it will become in an agricultural drought.
Drought is used to describe environmental factors that cause unfavorable plant reactions and directly affect animal and crop output. This is a major concern for the agriculture sector, which accounts for 7.3% of Jamaica's gross domestic product and directly impacts the livelihood of approximately 250,000 registered farmers and their families, of which roughly 32% are women.
Taking these variables into consideration, along with the significant production losses the sector sustained throughout over the years, we are mindful of the urgency in mitigating fallout and providing support towards alleviating the negative effects of this dry spell in a sector that plays such a critical role in terms of poverty alleviation, food security, and livelihoods. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is ramping up the implementation of our drought mitigation program. Note that we have been proactive in terms of a drought mitigation team and committee that is consistently assessing and evaluating and designing ways to provide support to our farmers. That is why this ministry has not just short-term but long-term investments. Matter of fact, the largest capital investment in irrigation. That means understanding that we must move away from rainfall dependency. So those large capital investments in building out the irrigation network in Essex Valley and Spad and Pedro Plains to come are critical in terms of us being able to maintain the consistency in production for Jamaica.
This is a significant component of the drought mitigation strategy.
Additionally, we will be collecting data to support a baseline assessment study in support of strategy alignment. If we are going to build a sustainable agricultural sector and strengthen the framework of agriculture and fisheries in Jamaica, we must be able to do more with less. We must be able to produce more efficiently. We must produce more and reduce what we waste or lose. That means that we have as a critical aspect of going forward, training our farmers and training all in this sector on water efficiency, which is a base of baseline report. That's fundamental to how we move forward.
And while that is underway,
rather than NIC and other agencies, AIC and others, we continue to provide trucking of water to several drought-affected areas and farming communities, and this is provided to farmers free of cost, and we intend to increase the reach by 100%. We at the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries will continue our efforts to ensure that our nation continues on a path of recovery and will keep food security as top priority for the people of Jamaica as we continue to grow smart and to eat smart. One love.
Parenting needs to be strengthened. Parenting. Parents must take charge. We cannot have people becoming parents and you are weak. You cannot allow a gang leader to take your child. I only have these children when they come to me, when the parents send them to me. So, these are your children. How dare you give them over to gang members? You must, and the whole family, must be in charge of the children. Children are children, and they need to be nurtured. We must take control until we hand over to them. That is what needs to be done.
Hi and welcome to OPM Connect. I'm Naomi Francis. Today we'll look at the removal of tuition and administrative fees of the Heart NSTA Trust courses up to level 4. What does it mean for you and how will it impact and improve your life? Well, this is what Prime Minister Andrew Holness said on the matter in his contribution to the 2023 budget debate.
Effective April 1, 2023, the Heart NSTA Trust will remove all tuition and administrative fees from its programs up to level 4, which is an associate degree. This will allow for access to vocational training, for all Jamaicans, regardless of economic status. This will be a game changer. This will be a game changer for poor, underserved youth who see fees as an obstacle for their participation in formal training.
So now let's hear from Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, the Executive Director of the Heart NSTA Trust, who will explain the impact of the removal of tuition and administrative fees for all courses up to level 4.
Both the professor at the UWI, UTech, NCU, or any university in Jamaica can be sitting beside the man on the street corner who had absolutely no career, and they can be sitting beside each other and learning from each other at the Heart Trust. And that is where we want to take Jamaica. And that announcement where the trust is now opened, all administrative fees are gone, all tuition fees are gone, is giving Jamaica that opportunity to really get training at a different level. Where there is a skill, there is a way. A lot of individuals now who would have gone through university are recognizing that that particular degree is not giving them enough. It is not enough for where they want to take their lives, and they have to be changing careers. And the Heart Trust is right there for you to make that change, for you to reimagine your professional lives. What else can you do? You have so much within you. You would have tried so many paths. Why not try the path of a skill? That is what we are here for, because that is what will future-proof this economy. Individuals in households who are multi-skilled to be able to take on any task and move any system so that we can move forward. If it is that you do not have the foundational skills, we can help you through the high school diplomacy equivalency program. We literally teach you to read and write. And so you do not have to be deterred by what challenges you may be having, because we will take you from ground zero to where you need to be. Once you're age 17 to 100, you can benefit. Age 17 to as long as there's breath in your body. We have over 250 skill areas and 26 wholly operated heart institutions. We are open and ready for you. You can get a skill to transform your lives. Where there's a skill, there is a way. Be smart today and choose heart.
And as always, we want to hear from you.
I love the talk when we make about the NSTA and how the children them will go register. They won't have to pay no registration fee for up to four grade or something like that. And yeah, we love that piece if it's true, because a lot of people there we can't afford certain things, you know.
Yeah, the Heart Trust now, every young people can go learn a skill. Yeah, because skill is the most important thing in our country. You have to have a skill, yeah. And big up Heart Trust, big up the art program, yeah.
Thanks for your views, and thanks to Dr. Ingleton for explaining what the removal of fees at Heart will mean for you. Next program will show just how much progress your government is making in improving our road infrastructure through projects at the National Road Operating and Construction Company Limited, NROC. And that's it for OPM Connect. For more information on what the government is doing to impact your life, follow the OPM and the Prime Minister on all socials at Andrew Holness JM, and on YouTube at Andrew Michael Holness /JM. And look out for OPM Connect online and on your favorite station. One love and stay safe.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. And in the words of Richard Feynman, if you can't explain something in simple terms, you don't understand it. I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.